20s, and I feel like I have learned so much in life, but there are definitely things that I have learned that I really wish I knew before becoming an adult that I think are so crucial in our development. And of course, these tips can kind of, apply to anyone at any age, but I would say that it would have been nice, it would have been helpful to have known these things before I really did step into adulthood. The first thing that I wish I had known was that one, nobody really has it all figured out. I feel like when we're young, we are conditioned and we're told to just, listen to our elders, listen to our parents, and take whatever they say at face value because they know what's best and they have lived life. I am realizing now that I am an adult and I got here myself that actually people really don't know what's going on. And it's okay. This is not coming from a judgment point, but more so from a point of we are all figuring this out together. We are living life for the first time all together, and do not put so much pressure on yourself to have it all figured out. Don't feel like you have to know exactly what you want and exactly how to get there, because how would you know if you are here for the first time and you're doing things for the first time? Be courageous and confident enough to step into your life, step into your power, and, have the courage to mess up sometimes, have the courage to learn lessons, have the courage to just live life to the fullest and do the best that you can every single day. Which leads me into my second point, which is that you are going to mess up again and again, and it's okay. So I mentioned this in my Sometimes You Are the Bad Guy video, but sometimes you are going to mess things up, and that's okay. Understand that you are human, and it's okay to, learn lessons, to live life in a way that provides you with lessons that you might not have known before. Sometimes we're going to do things we're not proud of. Sometimes we're going to be put in situations where we learn about ourselves and, maybe our response could have been a little bit better. Maybe we could have, not said a few things that we did say. But what I want us all to remember is that it's okay to mess up, and I don't want us to sit in self-pity and wallow in things that we've done in the past that can no longer be changed. Look at it as an opportunity to learn about yourself rather than a situation where you have to scorn yourself for. We are not our mistakes. And I believe that, we can they show us so much about ourselves and what we don't want for ourselves and what we don't want in life. So just look at them in that way. Don't feel like it's the end of the world if you do something wrong or if you mess up, even if your intentions were good. Forgive yourself and move on, but do not let your mistakes or whatever has happened hold a dark cloud over your head that it prohibits you from, doing better for yourself. My third point is that you can only make excuses for so long, and it is your responsibility to repair it yourself. When you become an adult, I feel like you realize a lot of your blind spots. So, for example, if you are untidy, or if you have poor money management, if you have poor social skills, if you don't have a great friend group, whatever it might be, I feel like once you step into adulthood and you are taken out of that structure that we're so used to from being in school, you learn a lot about yourself. You can no longer, blame your poor money management skills on, okay, my parents didn't teach me this, or my guardians didn't teach me this. There does get to a point where, like, it gets to a point where you have to take responsibility for your life and understand that, oh my god, sorry, the hearts are like going crazy over here. Okay, I had to take off the glasses because the hearts could not they couldn't detect my face. But yeah, it gets to a point where you start to understand that it is your responsibility to like figure all of these things out. If you are always stressed and you're always overwhelmed, you have to think, okay, like, what am I doing in my life that has to that I maybe need to change? You can have reasons, you can have, yeah, reasons why you don't have certain skills, but you can't continue to blame it all on your upbringing and your past. And I know it sounds a bit harsh, and I'm not trying to be, like mean or anything or insensitive, but we do have to take responsibility for our lives. And if you have bad friends, you have to think, okay, this is not any, this is no, you can't say that it's your environment anymore and that I just know these people from school, because once you're out of school, once you do become an adult, like, it is your responsibility to figure these things out. If there is something you do not know how to do that would largely improve your life, make you a better human, a more well rounded human, it is your responsibility to go out there and figure it out. We are in literally 2025. we have access to so many things. We have a plethora of knowledge. Use it to your advantage. If you don't know how to cook, just literally go to TikTok, go to YouTube, go to Google, whatever it is, and find a video on how to do it. If you have poor money management skills, if you are curious about investing, whatever it might be, figure it out. So my fourth point, which I feel like is I feel like I wrote this one down for myself, but it is just because you could afford to buy something does not mean you should. Just because something is $50 and I have $50 in my account does not mean I need to buy it. And I have learned this the hard way. Money management is so crucial when stepping into adulthood because you do not want to be that person that is 45 and wants to go out to brunch with their friends and can't afford to do that because you didn't properly allocate your funds for the month. I have been, and I'm telling you, I really did learn this the hard way. I have been in situations where, I kind of wasn't aware of what my spending was and I was kind of just buying whatever the heck I wanted. Honestly, it was probably just like a lot of food that I didn't need to buy. And there would be situations now where like I needed to purchase something or I wanted to, like I said, like go on an excursion or do something or an activity with my friends and I didn't have the money to do that because I didn't properly allocate my funds. When you grow up with limited income and you become an adult and you get, an adult job or whatever, and your finances are just drastically different than what they looked like when you were growing up or working, part-time roles. I feel like we can get a little bit like spend happy and spend excited because there's just more money than we've had before. But you have to understand that if you do not know how to properly manage $100, you're not going to know how to properly manage $1,000. Money management and proper money management does not come from having more money. It comes from knowing how to manage money no matter how much you have of it. Learn those skills so that we can all be fruitful adults and live fruitful lives where we're not stressed about our finance management. The next one is that health and wellness are so important. I feel like when we're younger, you are used to running around playing with friends. You can kind of eat whatever the heck you want. You don't have to like be going to the gym or anything to feel fine. You're okay. Your metabolism is quick. You are able to like just burn things off really fast. But I promise you, it gets to a point where it catches up to you and you're going to notice it. And take the aesthetics out of it. This is not, like forget the idea of just like looking super fit and super toned. You get to a point where you realize that you have so many things to do as an adult and you want to be able to be your best self and be able to show up at 100% when you have these things to do. And you realize that one, moving your body is great for mental clarity. It allows you to feel a lot better about yourself. Your energy levels increase when you're taking care of your health and you're conscious about what you put inside your body. You realize how much it impacts your mood. I cannot wake up in the morning and have takeout every day because I'm going to feel sluggish. I'm going to feel bloated. I'm going to feel gross. And I, as somebody, who has pretty busy days, who has to show up as my best self, I cannot be moving around sluggish at 10 a.m. in the morning because I decided to eat McDonald's every day. It's not good for you. And on top of that, like who wants health problems? Like start to invest in your health now before it gets to a point where it's too late. And I don't like to say that you can't do anything, or like I don't like to say that you will run out of time for things, but let's say you could have prevented some health issues just from moving your body a little more and being a little more conscious of what you were eating before you received, you got some whatever health issue you had. Like just see where you can start, and it doesn't have to be crazy things. Like just like go on a 10-minute walk every day if you can, but like try not to live a sedentary life, I would say, and just like eat your fruits and veggies. That also I had to learn as well. Okay, so my final point is that you are responsible for your life. And this is kind of similar to my second point of reparenting yourself, but I think we really need to take ourselves out of that smaller level viewpoint and realize that you have the keys to life. If you are experiencing something over and over and over again, you're going to have to realize that clearly there's something that you're doing that's enabling this to happen. If you are drained by the people you hang out with every day, you have to realize, okay, wait a second. I can no longer say that, I just live this life where the people I'm surrounded by suck. If they suck, if you are not vibing with them, it is your responsibility to go and figure it out and make new friends. I cannot complain that I don't have structure anymore if I'm not giving myself structure. I really did get to a point in adulthood where I realized I had to make things happen for myself. Because I feel like, especially when we are in school, we're so used to being told where we have to be at what time. We have our schedules laid out for us. We have, a lot of things immediately that were easy. That we can immediately access, like sports teams or clubs or extracurriculars or whatever it is that enable us to meet people, because literally we're all in the same building, going to the same place every single day for the same amount of hours. But when you become an adult and everyone's schedule is different, you have to start making things happen for yourself. If you are feeling like holidays, aren't as magical as they used to be, which I used to say this all the time, and my friends used to say this as well. Like, our holidays don't feel as great as they used to when we were a kid. Everything's dry, everything's boring now, there's no more effort. We are the adults now, and it is our responsibility. If, we so desire, it is our responsibility to figure out how to make these things magical. Just the other day for Easter, my friends and I did an Easter egg hunt, and it was the most fun thing ever. Um, you have to understand that there's no more like, okay, my parents just didn't do this for me, or my guardian just didn't do this for me, or my family just didn't do this for me, so it's just not going to happen. If you want something to happen, make it happen for yourself. It does sound harsh, I understand, but once you realize that you have the keys to life and that you really can achieve anything that you want, of course, with time and hard work, you stop making excuses for yourself, and you stop just sitting and waiting for life to happen for you, and you make things happen for yourself. And I feel like that's how I'm trying to move in every area of my life. If I, have relationships in my life that I'm not really vibing with, I'm not going to continue to complain about the people. I maybe just remove them or change what type of relationship I have with them. I don't want to sit and wait for someone to give me an opportunity of a lifetime so that, I don't know, I become super successful in my career. I am doing things now that will put me in positions to receive, my dreams and my manifestations or whatever I want. You are responsible for your life. And I think once we realize this, especially if I had known this just getting into adulthood too, I think I would have started with a little more momentum. But once you do realize this, I think, I don't know, a breath of fresh air happens. I feel a lot more like I'm in control of my life, which is really sweet. Yeah. There is so much I am still learning as a young adult, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop learning. That is what life is about. But I want us all to hopefully, be on this journey of life together and give ourselves compassion, dare to do things that scare us, um, understand that, we can craft our lives how we want them to be so that we are as happy and as joyful as we can be. We don't know, I literally say this in almost every video, but we really do not know how long we're here. And I don't want us to get to a point where we are waking up and we're miserable and we're unhappy and we feel like we weren't properly set up for life. We really do live in an age where we have access to so much knowledge. Use it to your advantage. And just, I don't know, just so we can live happy lives. We can be the best, healthiest, most passionate and joyful people we can be. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.